With Halo 3 in everyone's hearts, minds and disk drives, we decided that the time was ripe to have a look at the updated version of Bungie's classic first-person shooter, Marathon Durandal, recently released for Xbox Live Arcade. The Marathon trilogy, originally for the Mac, goes back to 1994. It was the precursor to Halo, although not related in terms of story or universe, and introduced many now familiar concepts, such as dual-wielding weapons. The multiplayer was hailed as revolutionary, and introduced several now very familiar modes beyond the typical deathmatch, such as King of the Hill, Tag, and Kill the Man with the Ball, which would become Halo's oddball. It was also the first multiplayer to have real-time chatter. You're trying to prevent the Four from invading Earth, and you're based on the planet Lahoon or something, homeland of the Spit, or however you pronounce these stupid names that have too many apostrophes and not enough consonants. The gameplay is dated, and you might feel at a bit of a loss if you're only used to modern FPS games, but it is very rewarding. You complete tasks set by Durandal that fit into a deep storyline which provokes some fairly philosophical questions, rather than just blasting through and clearing rooms. Do make sure to read the computer screens fully though. It may be dense, but you need that information. In fact, the text-heavy nature of the game, and the detailed universe that supports it, makes this a really good FPS for RPGers. The only frustrating thing about the story in its incarnation for Xbox Live is that Marathon Durandal is actually the second game in the original Marathon trilogy. But you can easily read up on the backstory online, and not knowing the events of the first instalment doesn't really affect gameplay that much. The game has been faithfully reproduced, but redrawn in high definition, so although it is definitely dated, the old sprites don't look anywhere near as bad as they would have done. The controls have also been redesigned for the 360 controller. You can play offline co-op or multiplayer in 4-way split screen, but a networking layer has also been added so you can play 8-player online on Xbox Live, provided you can find other players of course, and you can take up to 4 players online in split screen. Now the main problem with updating this game is that the refresh rate has been upped to 60 frames per second from the original 30. Now no kidding, this can actually cause motion sickness when you're playing, rather unpleasant. The updates have also resulted in a rather large file size of 135 megabytes, so be warned if you have a slow connection. There are some really cool game features, such as being able to dual-wield shotguns. Nice. But there are also limitations, such as not being able to jump, which kinda sucks. And while some might complain about the outdated graphics, I actually quite like them. It's nice to remember a time when this was cutting edge. And even in its own right, aliens with mouths in their torsos are always going to be frickin' cool. So check out the demo. And if you don't succumb to the motion sickness, then the game is definitely worth the investment. At only 800 points, about £6.70 or $10 US, Marathon Durandal for Xbox is a great opportunity for a nostalgic blast, or to check out a real piece of gaming history for those of us who are too busy playing Doom on PC the first time around. 3 out of 5 stars.